was said when Sid Barrett, of the co-founder of Pink Floyd, Sid Barrett, the co-founder of the legendary band Pink Floyd, started out with a psychedelic band from England. Now, there was a lot of psychedelic drug experimentation in the 1960s, LSD in particular, acid, as it's called on the streets. So that was very prevalent with psych musicians taking acids, doing mushrooms. I don't know if it was ayahuasca and exotic, mescaline and Indian types of trips, but definitely acid and LSD was extremely prevalent, and lots of famous musicians did it. In the Summer of Love in late 1960s, famously, John Lennon wrote a song with Paul McCartney for the Magical Mystery. I'm sorry, for the, my apologies, for the Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band album, the famous, called Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, which a lot of people think is an acronym for LSD. What is it called? Lysergic something? Dethalphelamine? I don't know. I'm not a drug. I'm not a pharmacist or drug cowboy. So, and I'm not a drug chemical scientist. So I'm not a drugstore cowboy, I guess you could say. What is it called? LSD? Lysergic what? It's called lysergic acid diethylamide. Lysergic acid diethylamide, commonly known as LSD, and known colloquially as acid or Lucy, is a potent psychedelic drug. Boom. Effects typically include intensified thoughts, emotions, and sensory perception. At sufficient high dosages, LSD manifests primarily mental, visual, and auditory hallucinations. Chemical formula: carbon 20, hydrogen, is that right? 25, nitrogen 3, and 1 part oxygen. What the fuck? Okay. Metabolism through the liver. That's where it's processed. Most drugs are processed. Alcohol, most drugs are processed. Pharmaceutical drugs, everything goes through the liver. It's the liver is the human filtration system, basically, to filter out toxins of all kinds. It's humanity's bodily filter, yes, from harmful things. All right. Did I ever do acid? Yeah, I did. It was pretty fucking crazy. I'll say I did it when I was like at a party. Typically, I wouldn't do drugs unless it was the Millennium Party. It was the 1999 to 21st century, the Millennium Party, like Iron Man 3. So, yeah, it was kind of like if drugs were being sold, man, the beginning of a new millennium was the place to sell them. Honestly. Most people wouldn't usually do drugs, but man, it's it's a once in a lifetime thing. So a lot of people are like, let's party. Of course. Especially young people like we were back then. What was my acid trip like? It was like the Matrix. It was like taking the red pill. I saw distortions. There were waves in the tiles. It was really crazy. It was just like the Matrix when Neo goes over into the Matrix and everything's psychedelic and there's visual CGI everywhere. It was just like that for me. Just about pretty similar. So, like what happens is there's visual distortions, and solid becomes liquid, and liquids become solid, and all kinds of shit like that. Like a lot of visual distortions, a lot of multitude of dimensions. I know it sounds cool, but it's really scary as fuck. It's really like a Alice in Wonderland kind of thing. So I wouldn't recommend it really. I only did it because it was the turn of the century. Usually I don't do hard drugs and I don't do extreme drugs. That was a pretty rare, and I was already drinking at this party anyway, so there was fucking, it was a big party. There's drug dealers everywhere. I mean, if you're a drug dealer, you're trying to make money. The end of the millennium party, that's where you want to be at, the 2000 party. So that's why it was so drugged up. It was so crazy. But so much for ancient history. But we're going to go back even further into history. Syd Barrett of Pink Floyd. So he abused the drug pretty seriously, the founding member of Pink Floyd. And so he abused the drug so intensely that he got schizophrenia. And he started to, it was noticeable to the band members that he had gone crazy. They started to become schizoid because he's done too much LSD, too much acid. Like constantly. Now, one person that might take a tab of acid, they might take some liquid acid. This guy, who knows how many per day he was taking. All right, he was tripping balls constantly. And so it's ironic that the guy got schizophrenia from taking too much acid because his name was Sid. So even made the stigma even worse. Yeah, there's some guy who overdosed from cocaine in a rock band. His name is Kane. It's kind of like some kind of sick joke, you know? So one Pink Floyd performance I read about, he got out on stage. He's supposed to do a Pink Floyd show. And he got out on stage and went. He stood there. He played the A. It said that he played the A major chord over and over. He just went. And then he went. The audience was like, what the fuck? Because nothing was happening. It was just. And so then they put him off stage, and David Gilmour, you know, they took him off stage and were like, So rest in peace, Syd Barrett. Would he die of diabetes? Because when you're fucked up, you don't know what you're eating. When you're schizophrenic, you don't know what's going on. So plus, you know, maybe a sedentary lifestyle. Maybe the Pink Floyds gave him, you know, big royalty checks for his early work, and maybe he just ate a lot of donuts. But I think that's also mental illness, like not knowing that you're not supposed to eat, you know, 12-pack of donuts. I think that is, you know, schizophrenia. You don't know what's going on. You don't know how to control time. You don't know what's happening. You don't know about health. You don't know about exercise. You don't know about blood pressure. You don't know about diabetes. You don't know about sugars. You don't know about shit because you're mentally ill. You know, so I think that's why a lot of mentally ill people die, is because they don't know about things, because they're too busy battling their mental illness to pay attention to their bodily maintenance to help them survive long term. So that's what I figured happened to Sid. Maybe it was just a sedentary lifestyle. Maybe he was just fucking lazy. But I think it was more that he was suffering from mental illness. So that's why I could get it together, as it were. Yeah, LSD. Huh. Ooh. High blood pressure, numbness, weakness, tremors, increased temperature, dryness, dilation of the eyes, profuse sweating, heart increased rate, gastric nausea. No, why would you even do this? Why would you even do this shit? Hell no. Let's take some shots, no doubt. Leek beer. Let's do some leek beer. All right. See, let's get the leek beer going on. All right, we're gonna get this shot set up, and then we're gonna. Oh, got the fizzler, and then we set up a shot. Just reading about LSD. I don't plan on doing it because I know it could cause mental. It's also not good just doing it even once. So it's like, well, it was interesting, but it was pretty scary too. So. Just because drugs are interesting doesn't mean that just because you had a good trip doesn't mean it's going to be great every time. So, you know what I'm saying? Ah, he's sipping on some Grand Marnier, the orange liqueur, the Grand Marnier. Yeah, I worked at a liquor store for like 2 years. The Grand Marnier, yeah. The Grand Marnier, yeah, that's got the orange peel and everything, and yeah, that stuff was good. What else did I like from the liquor store? They had Midori, not to be confused with the Legend of Zelda, the Book of Medora. The Midori, the Italian liquor, the melon liquor. Of course, Jägermeister. But they had another. They had a honey liquor called Baron Jager, the honey liquor. Oh my god, that German shit was fucking. That German shit was usually badass. It was called Baron Jager. And they had like, did it have a bear on the cover? It was like this honey liquor. It was fucking awesome. Of course, you know, limoncello. We got the lemon one. Danny DeVito talked about that one. If you know who I would assume that most people know who Danny DeVito is, but he's super famous, and he's been famous for a really long time. A lot of movies, a lot of shows. So I think a lot of people know who he is, but just in case I'm too old and I do have an old reference, I might do Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers, or something like that, but Charlton Heston. But I might. All right, looks like I have some spillage, and I can't. Oh no, you spilled some liquor on your guitar. All right, let's fix that. All right, let's do the shooter. Here's to America. Yeah. Oh, woo! Hum diddly damn. Hum diddly doo. Woo. Making those Chevy Chase faces. That was one of my favorite movies when I was a little kid. It was called Three Amigos, 1986. It was directed by John Landis, a really famous director, but his son Max Landis had a little bit of success in directing and writing, creating films, but then he got into some sexual scandals. Max Landis, yeah. John Landis was his more famous father. Who I think he did The Twilight Zone. He did fucking he did comedies. He did all kinds of movies. Really, he was really kind of a pioneer in directing and cinema and producing and screenplays. Yeah, the guy was kind of a pioneer, like John Carpenter. He was really, yeah. Max Landis, he got in trouble for some women stuff, messing around with the ladies. Some of the guys get in trouble messing around with the ladies. Why don't you just treat the woman good? And if she gets butt naked, she wants to get freaky, then that's what happens. But until don't hit a woman, don't sexually abuse a woman, don't force a woman into a no means no, and you know what I'm saying. So. The Grand Marnier. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I think I was telling somebody on one of my channels, a normal customer, I guess, or normal viewer that comments and communicates and all that stuff on a regular basis. Somebody was saying they want to know a lot of my liquor store stories, and what was one of my favorite ones. And it was like when a guy came in, he looked like Hugh Grant. He was a really wealthy dude. He had this like awesome suit to the liquor store on West Side Houston and Memorial in Derry Ashford, where we worked at this liquor store. And he was like, "It's my brother's birthday party, so I need to buy the best stuff." So everybody, the manager and everybody knew this guy was pretty rich. He was real flashy, and he rented a van to load up with liquor. And I'm not even making this shit up. He like rented a van to transport the liquor to the party, to the estate, or whatever. And he just went through the store, and he was picking out. And so he came with like 3 or 4 baskets full of liquor. And I was the cashier, and I rang him up. The guy I had to count out $3,000 all in $100 bills. The manager, I'm sorry, we tallied up his order first, and we scanned all the bottles and everything, and all the cases of wine and booze and beer and everything. And then we said, "Oh yeah, it's $3,288 or whatever." And he goes, "Oh, hold on." He goes, "I got to go to the bank." And he goes, "Oh, the Commerce Bank is down here or whatever, or Wells Fargo or whatever." Then he came back, and this Hugh Grant guy, this GQ slick dude, he laid down $100 bills and fucking 3,000. I've never seen anything like that at any retail job I ever worked at. It's like, holy fuck. That would have been funnier if he was like Mr. Beast and he bought the entire store. And he bought like $1 million worth of booze or something. He bought the whole store. Like, my brother's turning 20. We're having a party. Or something like, or my brother's, I think it was maybe his brother was getting married. That's why he was buying so much shit. But it was like crazy. I'm sure the party was awesome. One thing we didn't know, they had Specs liquor delivery, and we were new at it. We weren't really cab drivers. We weren't really pizza delivery drivers, but occasionally an order would come through, and we'd be the only people that could deliver the order, the liquor. Sometimes it'd be different clubs and different parties and different places, and they paid a transport fee and a gas fee and all that stuff. And it was so funny. Me and my buddy, I drove my car. We loaded up with tons of wine, and it was a Norwegian ladies club. And I remember like walking in there like thinking, what the hell? Or my favorite was that a lot of international wine guys would come into Specs Liquors in Texas. And my favorite was when the French people visited. Was probably one of my favorites. I didn't speak French at all. I didn't take French in high school, but it was just so hilarious. Their champagne company was called Louis de Sicile. Louis de Sicile, and it was like it was big in France. Their champagne and spirits, not spirits, call it sparkling. They don't call it sparkling wine. They call it champagne in France. So the bubbly, and it was funny because the French guys, it almost felt like you're a diplomat, even though you weren't a diplomat. It felt like you were the Secretary of State because you meet all these people that are in the liquor industry, and a lot of these people are from all around the world. So it does feel like sometimes you do feel like a diplomat or a bureaucrat or something like that, because it's like, look at all these people visiting, promoting their product. Now, in addition, maybe The Rock has a line of booze. There's probably some people who met The Rock. Maybe there's people who met Sammy Hagar, not just seeing him at a show, but like face to face in real life. So yeah, man. Should I have stayed in the liquor business? No, I would have been. No, I would have been like wasted. I would have been like one of those old Russian guys, like swilling vodka, and I would have been 60 years old and had a heart attack. Yeah. Yeah, some of those guys are just in there just drinking all the time, like real alcoholics, and they usually work in the liquor section. Go figure. But yeah, it's pretty easy to become an alcoholic in the industry. So, and it's difficult to work around the industry and stay really sober. So that's kind of the issue with it. There are a lot of the people that are real successful in liquor store business, Twin Liquors and Specs and Space Liquors and all this. Usually, the people that are most successful in the business are sober. They're not tempted by the product, so they don't get high on their own supply, right? So a lot of people get through the industry by only drinking at Christmas or something, or not drinking at all, which is even more saintly in my opinion. Sipping on that Grand Marnier, yeah. Oh, what was the Russian vodka? Yeah, we had like a real guy who spoke Russian. He was from Armenia, and he sold the vodka. And he's like, I speak Russian. I'm from Eastern Europe, so he was like the perfect guy to sell vodka, especially Russian vodka. What happened after the sanctions, after the Vladimir Putin invasion of Ukraine? I don't know if they stopped shipping that stuff or if it became, rare or pirate. I have no idea what the sanctions, how it affected the liquor industry. I haven't worked in the liquor industry in years, but how it affected Stolichnaya and Smirnoff and all the. I know the American vodka companies, there's no sanctions, but for the Russian ones, who knows what happened to that trade. Yeah. It does sound like this French song. I'm not familiar with French. I didn't take French in high school or college. I took Spanish. So I thought that was more sensible, since there's more countries that speak Spanish in the Americas than there is. But well, Spain speaks Spanish too, so it's kind of an international language, really. But I know there's plenty of French territories around the world: French Guiana, Canada, Quebec, and many others. So, can you actually play? I don't know any French though. Is the problem that I'm gonna have trouble? I'm gonna have trouble singing this song. Le Guessou. So here's the song. It's off the Hotels.com commercial, and everybody's been asking me about it. I don't run a music shop. I know people who do. I've known people who do, but yeah, I didn't even know. Well, when I heard it, it it's a Stereolab is a band that was formed in 1983. It's called Anglo French, which Anglo means English or Caucasian, or you want to go further than that, it means white, English speaking, Anglo-Saxon, Caucasian. Caucasian means white, comes from the Caucasus Mountains. So that's what whiteness means. Essentially, worldwide. So here's what the song sounds like. It's called Low Boob Oscillator. And I found it. It's from, it's called Hotels.com commercial. It's called The Artist. Everybody's been asking about it because my friends did listen to, I grew up around a lot of music nerds. They did listen to Stereolab. And I might have heard a few tracks. Maybe even if I've heard a few albums. I just don't remember. Because we listened to so many albums. And there's a lot of albums I do remember. And maybe some guy was like, hey, I'm listening to Stereolab. And I was like, well, I'm listening to the Flaming Lips. Or, you know, maybe another guy was like, I'm listening to Stereolab. And I was like, well, I'm listening to another French band, Air. So there's so many bands that, you know, you could have it where like some guy's listening to a whole bunch of different bands and another guy's listening to a whole different bands. And he doesn't listen to all the bands. So a lot of people thought that this song was new, Low Boob Oscillator. And it wasn't new at all. But it sounds new because a lot of people never heard it before. So that's where the uproar is going on. I've heard of the band name Stereolab. I know for sure I've heard songs. I've been around musicians that have played Stereolab music, but I just wasn't a big fan myself. Not because I didn't like them, but I just didn't know much about them. What's the thing? Listening to other people. So listening to other groups, listening to other kind of music, and going on different musical journeys than other people are, you know, necessarily going on. And there's a lot of different kind of styles of music and people who play music and a lot of different time periods of music and everything. So, you know, it just gets muddled up. It gets pretty dense after a while, like history or mathematics or science. It just gets really complicated very quickly. So the field of discipline, it gets intense. It gets dense. The intensity, the dimensionality, the intensity of it is kind of overwhelming at times. So we're going to go ahead and play it now, though. We set our TV to play the song. Hopefully there won't be a big copyright strike on my channel. And yeah, why did I get a hate speech strike? I don't know. I was kind of hungover one day. Maybe I was still drunk, but I got McDonald's and I got a McNugget and I put it in the barbecue and I said, hey, what's up, McNiggas? Instead of McNuggets, I said McNiggas. And then so they gave me a hate speech strike for McNiggas. Now, I didn't mean it in a racist way. I was joking around. But, you know, like PewDiePie's fighting the guys. And he's like, I'm going to get you, nigga. But they said it was hate speech or something. Like it was you say one word and that's racist or something. I don't know. But anyways, I'm not going to do McNiggas again, not on YouTube, Google, Alphabet. If they one day have a free speech platform, video hosting site, company, technological site, and anything kind of goes almost in it, you know, I might do like where I dip in the barbecue sauce and say, ha, 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 Google, Alphabet, YouTube, McNiggas, and laugh, or something like that. You know, ha, ha, freedom of speech won, the people won, liberty won. But feelings didn't win, but the freedom of speech won. And so that was more important to me than people's feelings. That a lot of people complain, that's racist. He said McNiggas instead of McNuggets. Well, that's your opinion, you know, but that's your opinion isn't law, though. The law of the land is freedom of speech, freedom of expression in America. It's not your feelings are not your feelings at the moment are not the law of the land. How you feel about words are not the law of the land. What's the law of the land is the U.S. Constitution and the freedom of speech and expression. That's the law of the land, the First Amendment of the Constitution of the United States. So So if I say wetback, for instance, to describe an illegal immigrant, that's not racist or hate speech. I'm just calling them wetbacks. Some people might find that racist or something. They might find it offensive, but definitely people have the right to say it. So people have the right to say words. People have the right to express themselves. Even if the government and the pussies and the lefties and the communists don't and the Marxists don't want us to have the freedom of speech anymore. They want to control words and language and thoughts and expression. They want to control everything. Interesting. That's not the way it used to be. That's something relatively new, trying to control language and speech. It's part of their plan. The race to control by the left and the communists and the Marxists and the Chinese Communist Party and the leftists in the federal government, that's all part of a plan to control our speech and to limit our liberties and rights. Soon they're going to be like Demolition Man. They're going to start finding people for saying shit or fuck or something. They're going to start, one day they're going to get so totalitarian, they're going to start giving people $600 tickets for saying shit or something like that. So they're not there yet to that level of tyranny, but they're trying to get to that point. So there's a reason why the left is trying to control language. Because if you can control language and expression and creativity and comedy and culture, you can control everybody. That's why they're trying to control and call people's thoughts and expressions. They're trying to call it misinformation, disinformation, hate speech, and et cetera, et cetera. They're saying, oh, that's violates our community standards, having a viewpoint that's different from ours. See what the tech tyrants are doing? Yeah, it's all well orchestrated and well planned. And they might get away with it for a little while, but the resistance is coming against them. And it's coming fast, hard, and soon. I'm not suggesting a violent revolution, but if the tyrants push it too far, who knows what's going to happen? Really. Anybody ever seen Terminator 2 with Sarah Connor? She blows up the Cyberdyne systems. That's probably going to start happening pretty soon. And it wasn't our fault. It wasn't our fault that these people tried to create gods or they tried to be gods. We never tried to be that. We stayed within our boundaries. But these tech tyrants and these corrupt governments didn't stay within their boundaries. And for that, they're probably going to pay very dearly. Not by us, but by God and by, just the fact that they're wrong and they're wicked and they're twisted. So we as people may not have to put the tech tyrants in the government complex in its place, but it will probably be put in place just by nature itself, by the nature of their evil, by their wicked attempts to play God. They will be destroyed just by de facto. You might not even need Sarah Connor to blow up Cyberdyne systems. They might blow up themselves, for all we know. Nice. All right, we'll do low boob oscillator, Stereolab. Let's go for it. There's a song. And then we're going to do, we're going to try to play it. We can't sing the French very well. We could try. What do you think French sounds like? It goes, Janine tu chada, or something. I don't know. You just make shit up, right? Avec quoi tu? You just try to emulate it, but you can't really do it because you don't speak French. So you can try to, right? A great pop. Great pop. No groove. The rhythm is first initially hit. Really awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna have trouble singing that. He's rapping. He's ripping. Right. It's gonna be hard to sing. All that right. It isn't. It sounds like something out of like a Wes Anderson video. Like when that Brazilian player plays David Bowie songs and the wife of flying with Steve Jobs, something really cool like that. Still learn this one. The language of love, French. One of the romantic languages. It's Spanish, French. I want to say, is it Romania too? Part of the romantic language family? Romania, I think it's Romania. Also. rhythm guitar is excellent. Oh my God. I think this music has produced an emotion. Oh my God. I had a human emotion. It's like whenever you're like Mark Zuckerberg and you listen to a song, he's like, oh my God, I haven't had a human emotion in like 30 years. I haven't had a human emotion since I was like 3 years old. Mark Zuckerberg. Oh my God, I haven't been human for like 20 years. When's the last time you had a human emotion? Yeah. I second that emotion. You like that song? Yeah, I can't listen to this song because all it does is go do 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 do. It kind of sounds like Beach Boys. It sounds like Beach Boys Wild Honey, doesn't it? Do do do. But the part where it goes do 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 do. Listen to Beach Boys. Compare these two songs, Low Boob Oscillator, and then listen to this one called Beach Boys Wild Honey. It's after Brian Wilson got on drugs and was in deep throes of manic depression and wouldn't get out of bed and he wouldn't do anything. And so I always thought when I was a little kid and watched Brian Wilson, he was bedridden and depressed. I always wondered, what the fuck is this? Because I was like, I mean, I could understand like drug addiction, but this guy was like fucking real depressed where he couldn't even get out of bed. When I used to watch the old documentaries when I was a little kid, I was like, oh my God, I can't even believe this. And now older, I kind of understand it more. You know, the whole like I don't give a fuck and the depression, and I understand like the trauma, and I understand that stuff. But when I was a kid, I was like, what's wrong with this guy? Right? So, man, I'm glad getting older gives you wisdom, but it should give people more empathy too for other people. We would hope, unless they're psychopaths or sociopaths. But yeah, that's one of the greatest things about getting older. You have more empathy and wisdom. That's one of the best things. You're able to calculate your moves strategically, and it makes a lot more sense. So when you're young, you don't know what's going on. You just do whatever you feel like, and it can be catastrophic sometimes. So the desire for adventure could lead to doom because you don't know what you're getting into a lot of times. So it's not that older, more mature, or wiser people can't get into trouble. It's just it's a lot easier to do when you're younger, right? Because you haven't been around this world very long, this planet Earth of ours. And so, talking about planet Earth, we're on planet Earth. How's it feel? Gravitation, sensation, skies, and oxygen, and water, and it's a fun time, isn't it? Woo! We're on the third rock from the sun, baby. I know everybody's really enjoying it. Yeah. So it's Wild Honey. Oh, you're wondering if it went on to play. I'm gonna do the comparison. Beach Boys, but now the Beach Boys were pioneers in pop. They influenced the Beatles. They influenced every other band that came after them. So to say that pop music sounds like the Beach Boys is kind of an oxymoron, because obviously bands all around the world, including the Beatles, even the biggest ones, copied at least some aspect of the pioneering sounds of the Beach Boys. So saying that the Beach Boys sounds like other bands is like saying, I don't know, that Italians kind of invented spaghetti or pizza. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, yeah, duh. You know, it's sort of like, yeah, like no wonder the great song sounds like Beach Boys because it's inspired by the Beach Boys. They influenced every single sound. The Beatles, the Beat Boys, fucking Stereolab, fucking everybody. The if you haven't listened to the Beach Boys, you don't know what that's one of the critical evolutions, the game changing points in human music was the Beach Boys, Brian Wilson and the Wilson brothers, and so forth. So this is why it sounds like it could be just similar chords, but this is Wild Honey by the Beach Boys. We have Wild Honey stereo mix. I bought this myself. Uh, Leap Beer. Yeah. Is that similar chords or similar progression? Yeah, Wild Honey. Let me see this progression. Yeah, it's a different key. No problem. Hmm. Interesting one. Yeah, indeed. Yeah, Leap Beer. Leap Beer is about uh, Leap Year Party is about party. It's about the inaccuracy of human dimensions. This leap year is about the inaccuracy in humans' calculations of the solar system or the Earth rotations. This leap year, this day is added because humanity is incompetent in calculating the solar system. That's why we're dealing with this shit. So humanity was more accurate, more wise, then we'd have an accurate calendar. But we have leap year because humanity is lazy, incompetent, and not God. Amen. Thank God. All right. We've established that humanity is not God, and now I feel a lot better about that. What's one of your favorite songs? ETI, Blue Oyster Cult, from the Agents of Fortune. Yeah, some people are asking me if I'm a Fed or agent plant. Yeah. Well, I like to keep my origins mysterious, whether I'm DC, CIA, FBI. Who knows what my origin is? I serve a lot of different functions. So I can't really reveal what my function in society is, because that would reveal to China and their agents what my role is. And I can't betray America. I'll say that much. And so I know I can't get any deeper into detail what my role is, what my function is in society, what my participation rate, what my income is. I can't get real personal about what's going on. I don't want to jeopardize my people. I don't want to jeopardize Americans. I don't want to jeopardize freedom. What I am is a representative of liberty and a representative of God and of the U.S. Constitution and the Founding Fathers. That's who I am. And that's my main mission in life. And it's not really for somebody's ego or power trip. It's for the good of all men and women. That's why I fight. That's why I struggle. That's why I resist. I could have had a better life just selling out, but I didn't choose to do that. So my life is tougher, but it's tougher for a reason, because I can handle it. So I have a higher purpose. It's a bigger adventure. It's a bigger purpose. There's 2 trillion galaxies in the known observable universe. I'm meant to go to one. My purpose of exploration and dimensions is higher than most humans can even comprehend. My voyage is beyond most. It's just really difficult to explain my mission because it's just so much higher than most of the 8 billion humans here. So it's just on a higher plane. It's on a higher thought dimension. It's on a higher level. And so that's what I'm trying to get to. And so it's no offense to the regular humans and the regulars and the normals and stuff like that. It's no offense to you guys. You're just normals. You're just regulars. You're not savants. You're not X-Men. You're not mutants. You're not aliens. You're just regular, thing. And that's fine. We need people who are just regular things. But for me, I have a higher purpose. I have something else to do, something bigger to do. At least I feel that way. I think I'm called to do that. And so to me, it's a bigger thing than just clocking in every day at the factory or whatever like that. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it's a bigger responsibility. So no, I'm not going to tell you who I am, who I'm working for. You know who I'm working for, right? It ain't the devil. It's God and the Constitution. I'm working for the government. Yeah, I am. It's true. I'm working for Washington, D.C. I always have been. I'm working for the American people. That's who I'm working for. I'm working for God. I'm working for people. I'm working for struggling people. I'm working for everybody. That's my job. And if I ever fail out that job, then strike me down, my own Lord. I am here. My only purpose for my existence is to lift people up. That's it. That's my only job. It's my only job. And if I fail that job, then I deserve to fail and I deserve to falter. But in terms of what my affiliation is, that's classified. That's you're never going to know that. So quit asking me. So I work for who I work for. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna keep it pretty ambiguous. And yeah, I know some people are like, "Where do you work? How much money do you make? Who's your family? Who's your?" It's none of your fucking. It's none of your fucking business, bitch. It's none of your business who my brother is or who my sister is. It's none of your fucking business what I work for, how much money I make, or who my girlfriends are, or who I have sex with. It's none of your fucking business, assholes. Jesus Christ. Remember that thing when people had privacy? Man, those were the days, man. Remember when Bob, you know, had his secrets and people had secrets and the government and the corporations didn't know what was going on, man? Those were the days, brother. Yeah. They didn't know where you went. Back in the day, John went to the titty bar. And he went to the titty bar and he looked at all the titties and he had a party and went to the titty bar. Now they got the iPhone. Now the government, the NSA is like, John went to the titty bar. Deploy the FBI and the NSA. Yes, a guy has a dick and he went to the booby titty bar. Get a. It's like, what the fuck kind of communist Chinese bullshit world we live in now, man? What the fuck? A guy used to go to the titty bar, go fucking get some hookers and just fucking get laid. No one gave a fuck, Don. Now what the fuck is this shit? It's bullshit, guys. You know what I mean? So it's like, what's the days where a guy can go somewhere, dude, and just go chill? Where's the day where a woman could go somewhere? Where's the days? It's not just guys, husbands sneaking off to titty bars. I'm talking about like when were the last time people got to just go explore and not be tracked by the fucking feds? I mean, come on, dude. When's the days we used to go back to the forest of Texas, or the forest of Virginia, or the forest of the South, or the forest of East woods, and go out to the mountains and just get lost out there, dude? No tracks, no nothing, just out there in the fucking wild, bro. Just when was the time when people got to go through the Arkansas, through the caves, and they explored like fucking Indiana Jones, and they didn't have a fucking tracker, they didn't have a Fed tracker, they didn't have a fucking NSA tracker, they didn't have a government big brother up their ass all the time. Remember the times when people would go be explorers and they take risks and they do stuff? What happened to that? Fucking gone. This tracking NSA, FBI, and surveillance state is bullshit. And everybody knows it is. We need to know all your information and who you sleep with for your personal safety and protection against terrorism. Go fuck your fucking selves. We need to know all your data. We need to track all your locations and all your transactions because we need to protect the safety of society. Fuck you. Go fuck yourself. It's bullshit. Yeah, just take the chair on. So we oh, sorry, I forgot my my beverages or my beer ridge. Happy Leap beer. We get the Leap beer. Yeah. No, I never officially worked for the Central Intelligence Agency. I was I went to the CIA website to learn more about the world. That's legal. It's a government website. CIA, Central Intelligence Agency, is legal. So I've been to that website many times. Um, I just wanted to know about different countries and their politics and their economy and just the status. So that's why I went on there. FBI, maybe I've been on there to see the FBI's 10 most wanted or something like that. Uh, what was contentious? I guess if people thought Edward Snowden was a hero or Julian Assange was a hero or they're a villain. Now, a lot of people who work for the government, one guy kept on saying, "Oh, that Edward Snowden guy, he's a traitor," or the Julian Assange guy, he's a traitor. Yeah. So, do I believe that Julian Assange or Edward Snowden are traitors to the U.S. government? Uh, it depends on what side you're looking at. They've exposed a lot of Julian Assange published the Pentagon Papers, and there was a lot of murders of innocent civilians in Iraq, and Julian Assange exposed that through his Pentagon Papers. So. Edward Snowden exposed National Security Agency spying on American citizens, the surveillance net. So, why was the internet created in the first place? I suppose what the American people thought was the internet was created, the interwebs, the World Wide Web was created because to give people power. That's what people thought it was. It was really a government program to steal power and to steal information from American citizens. So originally, what we thought growing up when the internet first came out, it was touted as the internet superhighway, the information superhighway. And it was going to change society because it was going to empower ordinary citizens with information. And we're going to use such information to better society and better ourselves. And that would create a perpetual change, perpetual chain of knowledge and citizen empowerment and public empowerment. So that was how it was sold. But now we know it was a government program, DARPA, internet, It was a military program to steal information from citizens. And then we learned the hard truth. It wasn't meant to empower the public at all. And that was a hard pill to swallow, wasn't it? Of course it was. So, Leap Beer. So if a government federal employee says, Edward Snowden and Julian Assange are traitors, like maybe you're the traitors. So it might be a different thing. One guy who claimed to work for the government would come into the deli that I worked at, and he would say, "That Edward Snowden, what a traitor! That fucking traitor!" And he'd get really intense and emotional with his vitriol, and I'd just be like, I wouldn't really argue with the guy. I'd just say, "That's an interesting viewpoint," and I wouldn't say much. I'd just say, "Oh yeah, well, you know." You're entitled to believe what you want to believe. You're entitled to feel what you want to feel because you're an American citizen. You're entitled to vote for Obama. You're entitled to vote for Joe Biden. It doesn't mean that I believe that it's the gospel. It just means you're entitled to believe what you want to. You can believe somebody's a hero or a traitor or whatever. You believe you're an American citizen. I'm not going to turn you into the government and you're not going to go to jail because you believe that Edward Snowden is a traitor because you're an American citizen. You're allowed to make your own judgments, make your own expressions upon that. So I'm not going to throw you and your family in jail just because I disagree with you. I'm not Joseph Stalin. We don't live in a communist totalitarian empire. So good. I appreciate that. So mostly if people were going extreme into politics or anti-Snowden or anti-Julian Assange or something, I would just go, oh, yeah, you might be right. I wouldn't go, yeah, what a traitor. I wouldn't get, hyped up. I wouldn't get them riled up. I'd just say, yeah, you're entitled to your opinion. You're entitled to your life. Yeah, you're entitled to your expression of that life. Doesn't mean I have to agree with it. What it means is that I'll listen to what you're saying. It doesn't mean that I won't take it with a grain of salt or I won't do any investigation. As Ronald Reagan once said, trust but verify. I'm going to verify whether you're lying or your information is false. So we'll trust but verify. How's that? Dude, Ronald Reagan's speech, A Time for Choosing. By the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library. Let's do that. 10/27/1964. Almost 60 years. All right, I'll tell you one time. All right. That wasn't funny. You get these old jokes. Huh? Yeah, a little bit. Love in India. India. Love to India. The Indian people. All Indian people throughout the world. Love to India. Love to India. And those in the English Valley. Love to the assessments in India. Thank you. Thank you, brother. My Indian brothers and sisters, the ancient world, respect and love. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. God bless. Apologize. Well, I'm sorry. I'm going to contact Hindu religion. Anisha, coming near to, coming near to God. God, Right. Experience. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. How are you doing, Hot Pink? Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. Well, you want the tunes now?
Oh no, I just wanted to come in.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
playing music or?
Yeah. I'm pretty much out. I'm not really playing music right now, but I'm gonna do it right now. Yeah. Do you? I'll tell you when the music's
Oh,
going
right.
on. All right, I'll play some music soon. What kind of music do you want? You want George Jones's or we get stuck here? Or, okay, we get stuck here.
Here,
Okay.
here.
All right. What kind of songs you want? Huh? Okay, sounds good. All right, I'll go get some songs going on, and I'm.
Now you have much time.
Are you sure? Oh, you got a light? Can I have a smoke in here? Are you sure? You don't have to get some tunes or something? All right, if you want to, we'll do it. I'll shut everything down. No, it's your room.
No, it's your room.
It's your room.
I'm just saying, there's no smoking in there. No smoking, no smoking.
That's what- all right. No, I'm gonna get ready for your song. Your song. Listen, George, or whatever kind of song you want. All right.
I have a lot of different music.
Okay, all right, I'm gonna shut it down. All right, I'm gonna get it ready. Love it.
No, I don't want.
No, I got it. Chill, dog.